Welcome back to the series where I talk about previously owned books, and today's book is Foucault's Pendulum by Umberto Eco. Most people love a good mystery. We love the idea that the world is a puzzle and that if we just find the right key, everything will finally make sense. This is why books like the Da Vinci Code became global sensations. Their promise is that the truth is out there, hidden in the shadows of history. But Umberto Eco, the brilliant Italian semiotician and novelist, had a much darker and more hilarious perspective. He published Foucault's Pendulum in 1988, and it is effectively the anti-Da Vinci Code. While other thrillers try to convince you that conspiracies are real, Eco's masterpiece is about the moment we realize that we are the ones creating the conspiracies because we are too bored to face reality. If you have ever spent a late night falling down a Wikipedia rabbit hole, wondering if a secret society is pulling the strings of global events, this book was written for you. It is a dense, massive, and deeply rewarding labyrinth. Today I want to walk you through the plot, the tragedy, and the warning that Eco left for us. Our story begins in Milan. We meet three editors who work for a vanity publishing house called Garamond. Their names are Casaubon, Belbo, and Diota Levi. Their daily life is a bit of a nightmare for any intellectual. They spend their hours reading manuscripts from cranks. These are authors who pay the publisher to print their wild theories about the Holy Grail, the pyramids, or the secret history of the Knights Templar. After years of reading this nonsense, the three editors become incredibly cynical. They decide that they can do it better. They decide to create a game. They call it the plan. The goal of the plan is simple. They want to connect every single conspiracy theory in history into one grand, unified narrative. They use a computer named Apophenia to help them shuffle data and find connections. Using a mix of historical facts and total lies, they weave together a story that spans centuries. They claim that the Knights Templar were never actually destroyed in 1307. Instead, they went underground to guard a secret source of immense power called the telluric currents. These currents are energy lines that run through the earth, and whoever controls them can control the world. The editors have a blast doing this. They feel like gods. They are laughing at the world because they know it is all a fiction. They believe that they are safe because they are the ones holding the pen. They are intellectuals who think they can play with fire without getting burned. But as Eco shows us, a story is a living thing. Once you tell it, you no longer have control over who believes it. This is where the book takes a sharp, terrifying turn into a thriller. While the editors think they are just playing a game, the cranks out in the real world start to hear rumors. A group of modern-day occultists and self-proclaimed secret societies hear about their plan. But they do not see it as a joke. They see it as the truth they have been seeking for their entire lives. They believe that Casaubon and his friends have actually cracked the code. They think the editors have the lost map of the Templars. The irony here is beautiful and cruel. The more the editors try to explain that they made it up, the more the conspiracists believe they're lying to protect the secret. In the world of conspiracy theories, denial is just another layer of the cover-up. Belbo, the most tragic of the three characters, becomes the primary target. He is a man who always wanted to be a protagonist in his own life, but felt like he was just a spectator. By creating the plan, he finally found a story he could star in. But the story turns on him. He is kidnapped by a group called the Tres. They take him to Paris, to the Conservatoire des Arts et Métiers. This is the home of Foucault's Pendulum. They believe that the pendulum is not just a scientific tool to prove the rotation of the earth. They believe that it is the fixed point of the universe, the only place where the map can be decoded to find the source of the telluric currents. They demand that Belbo tell them the truth. But Belbo realizes that if he gives them a lie, the madness will never end. If he tells them the truth that there is no secret, they will kill him anyway, because they cannot accept a world without a grand plan. In his final moment of bravery, he chooses silence. The climax is one of the most haunting scenes in modern literature. Under the swinging weight of the pendulum, the occultists perform a dark ritual. They are desperate for a sign, a miracle, or a revelation. When Belbo refuses to give them what they want, they execute him by hanging him from the wire of the pendulum itself. It is a literal sacrifice to a secret that does not exist. While this is happening, Diote Levi, the third editor, is dying in a hospital from cancer. He has a heartbreaking realization. He believes that his cells have started to conspire against him. He thinks that because they spent so much time mocking the sacred patterns of history, his own body has lost its rhythm and started to grow out of control. Casaubon, our narrator, is the only one left. He flees to Belbo's childhood home in the Italian countryside. He is waiting for the conspiracists to come for him too. While he waits, he looks back at his life and the lives of his friends. He realizes the ultimate truth of the book. The secret of the Templars was a void. There was nothing there. The editors created a monster out of thin air, and the monster ate them. Eco is telling us that the search for a hidden meaning is often a way to avoid the simple, beautiful, and sometimes boring reality of being human. Umberto Eco was a man who loved books. He had a library of 30,000 volumes. He loved history and symbols. But Foucault's Pendulum was his way of saying that we must be careful how we read the world. If you look at the world as a conspiracy, you will find patterns everywhere. You will find proof in every newspaper headline and every random coincidence. But you will lose the ability to see the truth. The truth is not hidden in a basement in Paris or under a swinging pendulum. The truth is found in the things we often take for granted. For Casaubon, at the very end, the truth was the memory of playing a trumpet as a boy and the smell of the hills in summer. That was the only fixed point that actually mattered. If you decide to pick this vintage copy or find a new one, be prepared to work. It is not an easy read. It is full of Latin, Hebrew, and complex philosophy. But it is a journey that will change the way you look at information forever. In a world of digital shadows and endless theories, we need Eco's skepticism more than ever. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive. If you have managed to finish the giant of a book, I want to hear your theories in the comments. Just make sure they aren't too convincing. I will see you in the next video.